Welcome to the CCS Technology Conference. My name is Eivind Bærstad. I am a senior advisor at the Bellona Foundation, and I will be your host today. We are very excited to have more than 300 participants online to discuss the latest and greatest of carbon capture and storage technology. You're welcome to send in questions either to the moderator or to discuss the topics in the chat. If we have time in between the speakers, we will ask the questions directly on stage. Otherwise, we encourage you to continue the discussion online. We have invited Eva Halland, project manager at the Norwegian Petroleum Directorate, to set the scene for us. Eva has patiently been working with CO2 storage projects for decades and will share some reflections on where we are today and what needs to happen going forward. Please give Eva a warm welcome.
Hello, good morning, everyone, and thank you for this introduction and also for the invitation to open this conference with a topic I really like to talk about. And I think it's really important. It's really important to do CCS to achieve the set climate goals. By my heading, 3 for 2 or 10 for 3, it's not to reflect the January sales, as you usually see in the windows, but it reflects some of the bit of the history and what the history tells us. And that is, the first one is expensive, the next a bit reduced, but by develop several capture projects and connect them to infrastructure, to offshore storage sites, the cost of the CO2 ton will be very reduced, highly reduced. And I think that's an important message. It will be cheaper if we just stay on. So an increased number of CCS projects ensures the necessary learning and large-scale effect. I was very much looking forward to meeting you all in person at this Bellona event, and also to acknowledge the work I'm sure this audience do and try to do and wants to learn more about. Though most of us meet behind screens today, I still hope we will be able to convey some messages. What I already know... Good. What I already know is that this is important to meet the climate goals we have set. And it's important because it is a crucial part to reduce the CO2 emission. So I think I would say the word important very many times today. But why is it that CCS is so important? The thing is that there are several industries where the only way to reduce the CO2 emission is to capture the CO2. And there are no other ways if not shutting them down. And that's among cement industry, steel, iron and steel, waste incineration, which all has large emission sources, are large emitters of CO2. And the Stavanger region and Rogaland has been the center for technology development and jobs in the oil and gas industry. This competence is crucial, we see, for building up an industry within carbon capture and offshore storage. Here there's a lot of expertise from offshore land industry, waste incineration, waste management, and in developing business models in this. That's something that has been done in this region for years. So, Stavanger region and Rogaland, are you hearing me? you have a lot of competence needed. So now is the time for you to really jump on this train. My expertise is the storage part of carbon dioxide. And Norway can offer safe storage solutions that are built on the knowledge and experience we have developed from the petroleum industry. And our experience with more than 50 years of petroleum activity and more than 25 years of CO2 storage offshore, where 26 million tons are already stored. And these are stored from the Sleipner and the Snøhvit CCS projects. In 2014, Norwegian Petroleum Directorate developed or published a CO2 storage atlas. And the same year, the regulation for CO2 transport and storage were published. That was in 2014, some years ago. And the aim of this CO2 atlas was to find out where is it possible to store CO2 offshore Norway in a safe and efficient way, and how much storage capacity do we have to play with. And that's a lot. It works. You see on the screen here some of the characterization system we have developed for safe and secure storage of CO2, and you see capacity in different geological formations. So we could develop this comprehensive atlas because we have access to all the data collected from the offshore petroleum activity, and that has been crucial for the work we could do. And Norwegian Petroleum Directorate, we have access to all the data, and we also have the national management responsibility for it. So, but over its years of development, CCS has faced questions about its technical feasibility and safety. And I think these two projects, Sleipner and Snøhvit, show that it's possible to do it safe and efficiently. And we have learned a lot from these projects. And the interesting with this project, and that's an honor to the operator, the data is shared with research communities and stakeholders all over the world. So the monitoring system, the injection part, the monitoring system is something we can take with us into new projects. A lot has been learned. So we know how to store CO2 safe and permanently, and we have a huge storage capacity, as you see on the screen here. And the interesting now is we see a lot of companies start working to mature these storage sites. And we also have the Technology Center Mongstad, TCM, that has been an important test facility for several CO2 capture technologies managed by the Gassnova. And we also know how to transport CO2. CO2 can be transported in pipelines or on ship, trains, trucks, a lot, and we know how to build them. A few challenges, but that to overcome. So we can capture, transport, and permanently store CO2, and we have all the competence and technology needed. I have been following this CCS discussion, studies, and political debates for quite a time now. And it has been going up and down, and very slowly for a very long time. But then the idea of developing a full-scale pilot project on capture, transport, and storage came up. And after some years with hard working with many enthusiasts, the baby was named Longship. And finally, the Storting agreed, and the government pressed the yes button. And This is the first of its kind, mostly financed by the Norwegian citizens, and a demonstration project far beyond Norway. We keep our finger crossed for this project, and we like to see it, the whole stream coming on. When the discussion about money and roles had subsided, we began to see the effect of this decision. I think I can say that there was an exponential development in interest. Questions, many interesting ideas, and not least we saw the spirit of cooperation awaken. And we see that activity is picking up in Norway and in other countries around the North Sea basin. And this is exactly what is important. CCS requires cooperation, both nationally and internationally. The power of example is great, and so never underestimate good political decisions. That's, I think, is a message I want to highlight. Every time someone writes in the media or discuss, we hear that CCS is expensive. It costs too much, and it's not possible to develop a sound business model on any parts of CCS. Is that in fact really so? You guys sitting here that have developed a fantastic Norwegian petroleum industry and several technological masterpieces in drilling and development of fields, and not to forget the land industry, shipping, transport industry. Will you tell us that it is not possible to make CCS a viable and cost-efficient measure to reduce CO2 emissions? I will end my talk with a short sum-up. We have all the technology in place for the whole value chain for CCS. We have a lot of offshore storage capacity, but to reach common goal, we must work together, and we must see several of these projects being matured in the coming years. So look forward listening to all the good initiatives and solutions I'm sure we will hear about here today. But of course, there are some hurdles to overcome. I think we all know that. But we just have to manage to solve them. And I think that's my final word. I really look forward to this day, and I'm optimistic. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you so much, Eva. Now the scene is set.